People ask why nails are no longer $25. And the truth is, the answer doesn't start in a nail salon. It actually all started in a dental office. Because modern acrylic nails weren't originally created for the beauty industry at all. It actually came from dentistry. And the way the material moved from medical use into cosmetics shaped the entire nail industry as we know it, including why pricing, safety, and expectations look the way they do today. So, to understand why nails will never be $25 again, we have to understand how we got here. In the 1940s and 50s, dentists commonly used a material called methyl methacrylate, or MMA. It was strong, durable, and used to create dental prosthetics and repairs. One dentist, Dr. Frederick Slack, accidentally broke a nail one day and used dental acrylic to create a temporary replacement. It worked so well that the idea spread. And eventually, companies realized that they could use this material and market it for cosmetic nail enhancements. And just like that, acrylic nails were born. But there was a problem. MMA was never designed for cosmetic use. It is extremely hard, extremely rigid, and incredibly adhesive. The strength made it useful in dentistry, but on natural nails, it created serious issues because natural nails aren't rigid. They flex, they bend, they move. MMA didn't. So, instead of moving with the natural nail, enhancements made with MMA often separated from the nail plate in damaging ways. Removal was difficult because acetone couldn't properly break it down. Instead of soaking off safely, it often had to be aggressively drilled or even pried off. And that's where a lot of long term damage started. Nail plate thinning, lifting, chemical burns from improper application, infection when moisture became trapped underneath rigid enhancements, and in severe cases, permanent nail deformities. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, health concerns were becoming harder to ignore. State boards across the United States began restricting MMA use for cosmetic nail services, and over time, it was effectively banned for professional nail use in many states. Other countries followed similar paths, limiting or discouraging MMA use due to safety concerns in cosmetic applications. The industry began shifting towards safe alternatives, primarily ethyl methacrylate, or EMA, which was more flexible, safer for natural nails, and designed specifically for cosmetic enhancements. But the transition didn't happen overnight. And as acrylic nails became more popular, something else was happening at the same time. Demand was exploding. By the 1980s and into the early 2000s, acrylic nails weren't just a trend anymore. They were everywhere. Shopping centers filled with nail salons. Full sets had become part of mainstream beauty culture, and suddenly millions of people wanted long, durable nails. But the industry was growing faster than regulation could keep up. Safer products like EMA existed, but they were more expensive. Proper sanitation took time, proper ventilation required investment, licensed training took effort, and not every salon made the transition the same way. Some continued using illegal MMA because it was cheaper and easier to work with. Others cut costs through high volume services, minimal sanitation standards, or extremely low labor wages. At the same time, large numbers of immigrant workers entered the nail industry. Many worked long hours for very little pay, often in environments with heavy dust exposure and chemical fumes. The public didn't see that side of things. What clients saw was the price: $25 fills, $25 full sets. And over time, that number became the expectation. Those prices weren't a reflection of the true cost of safe, regulated nail services. They were the result of inconsistent standards, cheaper materials, and labor practices that weren't sustainable long term. Meanwhile, nail technicians themselves were experiencing the consequences: respiratory irritation from dust and fumes, skin sensitivities, chemical exposure, long term health concerns that only began receiving widespread attention decades later. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't particularly safe, and it wasn't built to last. Eventually, the industry had to change, and the change is what created the modern nail industry we know today. Fast forward to today, and the nail industry looks completely different than it did 20 or even 30 years ago. Modern nail professionals operate in a far more regulated and science driven environment. Licensed education is required. Sanitation standards are enforced. Products are developed specifically for cosmetic safety instead of adapting from other industries. We now have safer EMA monomers, soft gel systems, structured gels, Gel X, and LED curable gel chemistry designed to reduce damage when applied and removed correctly. Formulations continue to evolve. Ingredients like TPO have recently been removed from products in parts of the UK and the EU due to allergen concerns, forcing manufacturers to reformulate entire product lines. You'll hear terms like HEMA free, TPO free, and hypoallergenic systems, all part of the industry moving forward, reducing sensitivities and long term reactions. And all of that progress comes with a cost. High quality products cost more to manufacture. Ventilation systems cost money. Sterilization supplies cost money. Continuing education costs money. Licensing, insurance, rent, and overhead all exist in ways they didn't decades ago. And perhaps most importantly, nail professionals today are increasingly being paid fair, livable wages for skilled technical work. So when people ask why nails aren't $25 anymore, the answer isn't greed, it's evolution. The era that made nails artificially cheap was built on unregulated products, inconsistent safety standards, and unpaid labor. The modern industry is built on safety, education, and sustainability. And that's a good thing for both clients and for professionals. Because healthier products, safer practice, and ethical wages means better outcomes for everyone involved. And now you know why nails were once $25 and why they're never going back there again.